Local history, local culture, local events, your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. The United County History Center, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We've got two guests, Rebecca Mclain, Executive Director of the United County History Center, and we're also going to be talking with Patrick Reynolds, who is the Director of Public Programming at the History Center. 1608 Genesee Street is their home. Rebecca Mclain joins us, and we're going to be talking about her job, her duties up at the United County History Center. Good to see you.
Yes. Hi, Joe. Thanks for having me.
You bet. And lots going on up there. Just looking at the website, unitedcountyhistory.org.
Correct.
And lots of stuff going on up there. I don't know where you want to start. I suppose we should start with the exhibits. You've got two exhibits about ready to come down and two exhibits about ready to go up?
Yes. So this spring, we were lucky. We hired Patrick, who you're going to speak to in a little bit, and he is in charge of scheduling our programs and exhibits. So we have been really trying to rotate our exhibits a bit more to give people more opportunities to come in. So at the end of August, unfortunately, we have two great exhibits coming down. One is the Erie Canal Odyssey, and they're actually recent photos, but by Frank Forte, a photographer, but all along the canal. Fantastic photos, and it kind of showcases the beauty of this historic waterway and how it's being used today.
Yeah, but there's still time for people to get in there.
Absolutely, still time. So our current hours right now, we're open Monday through Friday from 10 to 4, so lots of time to come in.
And that comes down when, did you say?
We're going to close it September 1st, so right at the end of the month. So
Okay.
we'll be taking it down that
good.
day. And the other one that'll be coming down, but people still have time to see, is the Tramp-In Trail Club. And so they are celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. So they officially turned 100 in May 2021. And this was a collaborative exhibit. So it kind of has, well, it doesn't kind of, but it does have items from both our collection and their own collections and archives. So, and they're actually the oldest hiking club in New York. So pretty cool.
And what is going to replace those two, Rebecca?
So we have a fantastic exhibit called Central New York and the Birth of the Oneida County Freedom Trail that Ashley Tortolo, our Colgate intern, is working on right now. And that'll actually open August 13th. So she's been spending, she's with us for 10 weeks, so she's on her, finishing up her 8th or 9th week right now and kind of trying to finalize. We're waiting to get items from the printer and pop it up.
What was the Freedom Trail?
The Freedom Trail, this is a name we add to essentially the Underground Railroad today. But it takes a look back at the history of the Underground Railroad locally. So both social and demographic changes that allowed for the Underground Railroad to happen, and then some of the significant people and places.
Yeah, we had Deidre Sinnott on sitting where you're sitting today not too long ago, and she's just written a book on the Underground Railroad, and the name escapes me. The Three Mrs. Galloway?
Yeah, the third Mrs. Galloway.
Yeah. And that's on sale up at the bookstore?
Absolutely. And so she actually donated the first 30 copies we had to us, so all proceeds went directly to us, which is fantastic. And then we purchased a number more. And we'll actually be going in a couple weeks, again, back to the farmers market, the Oneida County Public Market, and Deirdre will be joining us for a book signing. Next Saturday.
And that's the farmers market down at next door to Union Station in the old REA building.
Correct. And we are inside the REA wing. So we're perfect, rain or shine, nice and cool in the summer.
And the second exhibit that's going up?
Yes. Patrick is working on an exhibit called The Progress of Cotton. So we had a number of great lithographic prints in our collection already, and they kind of tell the story of how cotton becomes textiles, and so he's going to tie it back to our local Utica history with a few items related to mills and things like that.
I was looking at something, and I can't remember what I was looking at the other day. I was reading something, and they had a letter that's in the collection of the United County History Center from George Washington ordering a penknife. He'd lost his penknife, and he was ordering a new one. Have you seen that letter?
You know, I have not, but it's probably because that one is tucked away in, you know, extra special care.
Right, gotcha. One of these days I got to go up there and take a look at that letter. Yeah. So we've talked about the exhibits and when they're going up, September 1st for the new ones. You've got a scavenger hunt.
Yes, yeah, so very exciting, or I'm excited anyways. It's our 5th annual historical selfie scavenger hunt. So we're challenging people of all ages. It's not just for kids, it's great for families. We've had a lot of grandparent-grandkid duos. We've had adult families do it together. But you're challenged to either go around Utica or go throughout the county. And we do send you all around the county and snap a selfie or take a photograph with various historical markers, monuments, statues, buildings. So you're learning a little bit about our local history while having some fun.
Right. And I'm embarrassed, I can't remember her first name, but Truitt.
Michelle Truitt?
Michelle Truitt. Yeah. I know she's big into that.
Oh yeah, she absolutely did it last year. I'm not sure if she did it the years before, but yeah. Her team was pretty funny. They had some good photos.
Good.
As did lots of other groups.
And basically what it is, you get clues and you got to go to that spot, have your picture taken and send it in to you?
Exactly. So we don't tell you, you know, you have a clue, so you kind of have to figure it out a little bit. We try not to make it too tough. So you could either find out the answer by, you know, just doing a tiny bit of research if you don't know, online or coming down to the History Center. And then we're pretty specific about what you should take your picture for. Mm-hmm. And at the end, you show us your selfies. We have prizes for kids, and then we're gonna have a grand prize for everybody. You're entered to win the grand prize at the end of the month.
Right.
And we have some great prizes. So, and I know in the grand prize gift basket, we have a membership from the Utica Zoo. Mercer's Ice Cream has given us a gift certificate. The Utica Comets, Mystic Stamp Company. Mm-hmm. So some fun prizes for all ages.
And I'm also thinking ahead, you've got a ride on the Erie Canal coming up, yes?
Yes, Tuesday on the towpath, so we're not the only one doing it. So this is happening at different sites along the canal all summer. Mm-hmm. I want to say it's Tuesday, August 24th. About 6 p.m. we're going to meet down at Lock 20 in Marcy, and it's about a 5-mile out and back bike ride. And it's going to be, slow paced, and we're going to stop and talk about the significance of the canal and the history of the canal. So again, for all ages, as long as you have some experience on a bike. We of course encourage helmets. Yeah,
we've only got about 20 seconds left, and I know a date hasn't been set yet, but this fall you've got the annual dinner, the Living Legends.
Yes, so our Historical Hall of Fame and our Living Legends Award ceremony or celebration. Voting's going on right now among our staff, volunteers, trustees, and local historians, and we're planning that for the first or second week of October, and we will absolutely be back in person.
Yeah, and let us know when you know, and we'll get that message
out.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
That's going to do it for Rebecca, but when we come back, we're going to be talking to Patrick, and we're going to be talking about cheese factories and maybe Fort Bull. Short break, right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. The aforementioned Patrick Reynolds is with us, Director of Public Programming. What does the Director of Public Programming do at the United County History Center?
Well, public programming involves a lot of different things. The recent scavenger hunt we were talking about is a public program. The exhibits are a public program. The lectures and speakers are a public program. So it's kind of anything that the public comes across.
Yeah,
I have input on.
Talking about that, I was thinking, I didn't get a chance to ask Rebecca about it, but I'll ask you about it. Speaking of public programs, there's going to be another show and tell at the United County History Center in December. I should know the date because I'm going to be part of it.
Yep, first Saturday in December, I believe. I just got confirmation that Frank's on board to help talk.
Frank Tomeno, yeah.
And the idea is we're going to talk about holiday traditions in Utica and Oneida County, or memories that you have of
Christmas traditions, yeah. The show and tell, Rebecca started that a few years ago, has been very popular. The biggest problem is to keep people down to their allotted time.
Right? They like to share stories.
Well, they do, and they've got a lot of good stories, and they bring artifacts with them, and I've enjoyed it. I help host that, and Frank is usually the first speaker, and so it's a nice program, so we're looking forward to doing that with you.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
The cheese industry, as we know it today, really got its start in Oneida County, did it not?
Very much so. It's an often overlooked story, the importance of what happened in Oneida County here, and it all started by a man named Jesse Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He moved here from Connecticut in 1798 and was a farmer, ran a sawmill and a few things, but among many things he did is made cheese. If you had cows, you had to make cheese. Do you know why you had to make cheese?
You had to do something with the milk?
No refrigeration.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's really the reason. And cows need to be milked twice a day.
Yeah.
So, and Jesse entered the county fair and won some prizes. But later in his life, actually in 1850, he was getting a contract to make cheese in Rome. And the man who was going to buy the cheese buyer as they were called, Jesse's son was getting married in 1850. And Jesse wanted to kind of help his son along, a little bit. So he negotiated that Jesse would sell him his cheese, but he would also sell his son's cheese. Right? That's the start. I don't know if Jesse's son didn't know how to make cheese, but Jesse certainly did. So he started out by combining the milk. It's associated dairying is the term we use today.
Kind of like a co-op.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it grew into. So he took his milk, combined his son's milk, and made cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very successful at it. He started out with 40 cows, then 80 cows. Soon after, he was buying cheese from all the neighbors' cows, hundreds of cows. Finally, in 1851, he actually built a factory, and this was located in between Rome and Delta Dam, about where the fish hatchery was. And he
Where the fish hatchery is today?
Fish hatchery is today, yeah. And he selected this place because of a natural spring there. You can go see it today. It's hundreds of gallons of water a minute coming out of the ground with no pumps or anything. And this this water is used in the cheese making process to cool the milk and to clean and other things. So that's why he was at that location. But his cheese factory also was afforded a great benefit because it was literally feet from the Black River Canal. And that's where the cheese was shipped,
So you could have gone up to Boonville, or you could have gone down to Utica or Rome.
Yep.
Okay.
So Jesse opened his factory, and in the process of developing the factory, he invented machinery and presses, because this was large-scale cheese production. Normally, it was just a farm making one small cheese, but he was doing large-scale cheeses and lots of milk. So he invented presses and things like that. And people would come to visit him. He was so successful, people would come from other countries even to visit Jesse Williams' cheese factory to learn what he was doing. He was very kind about sharing his information.
He didn't patent it, did he?
He didn't patent anything, no. They called him Uncle Jesse because he was just a friendly guy. He wanted you to succeed. Everyone could succeed. And slowly over time, cheese factories became more widespread. I got some figures here. Jesse Williams himself made 100,000 pounds of cheese the first year. Right? This is not small amounts.
Yeah.
By 1865, there were 500 cheese factories in New York. So this is a logarithmic growth of an industry. Do you know where the cheese was going?
I don't know. New York City, I would guess.
That's part of the trail. So they were making cheddar cheese. New York cheddar was what we're known for. But the cheese trade coming out of central New York was going to New York City and then to England. They could not get enough cheese. They could not get enough of American-made cheddar cheeses. They literally didn't have enough farms to make enough cheese, so we were shipping it over and shipping it over. There were cheese markets in Utica, so the farmers from the surrounding areas would come and the buyers would bid on it and they would follow the prices. There was another one in Little Falls that was a big one as well.
So it would go from where today's New York State fish hatchery is, down the canal to Rome,
Yep.
on the Erie Canal to Albany, down the Hudson River to New York City, and then on a ship over to England.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a long trail. And early on, there were some difficulties in shipping. Like, a cheese, they didn't have refrigeration, but, below the deck on a ship, it was cool. But eventually, they ironed it all out, and they got the sort of supply chain smoothed out so that no cheese was wasted.
Yeah.
Most of the difficulty.
Did he become, and I know what you're saying about him being generous and not patenting things and giving his secrets to anybody that wanted them, but did he make money? Did he become a wealthy man?
Not super wealthy. You kind of divided. You paid the farmer for milk, and then you took a cut for cheese. So he did well, and his sons did well. Certainly the factory he built was very substantial. One of his bigger legacies was the development of the American Cheese Manufacturing Association. So very soon after he started, the cheesemakers of the area got together in Rome at the courthouse to share the knowledge, and so that they could all make better cheese.
Yeah. Is there anything left of his factory or his house? Are there any remnants anywhere?
I walked, if you go to the fish hatchery across the street, there's a parking lot, and there's a monument of his legacy to the cheese factory.
Is that where the public fishing dock is across there?
That's down across the street the other way.
Okay.
This is a little bit to the west. And as I was standing there, sort of looking in the woods, I could see little pieces of metal, because it's never been built on. So in a way, the cheese factory is still there, but there's nothing to see as far as a relic.
Yeah. I know you brought some pieces of the
Sure.
cheese industry. What is that?
Well, hold on. We're going to start with this one first.
All right.
So we were talking about shipping cheese, and before cardboard and plastic and everything like this is a cheese box. And this one is labeled for a 13.5-pound cheese. This is a little one. So at the scale of Jesse Williams and the large cheese factories, they were doing 300-pound cheeses. But the cheese box making industry itself was a cooperative industry as well. There were people that just made cheese boxes locally.
Is this locally made, do you know?
This one is marked, I believe this was from the Carlin Cheese Factory, which was up on Turn Road.
Okay.
And so we were talking about the size of cheese. As cheese, often is aged. Cheddar gets better with age, sharper and things like that. So the cheese makers would actually sample their cheese. And this is a really rare relic. This is a cheese tester. And what they would do is stick it in the side of the cheese and take a core and make sure it wasn't rotten, make sure it's going to taste good and things like that. And you can see the size of this.
Yeah.
This was for a cheese about that big.
Okay. Yeah,
So, yeah.
These are both in the archives of the History Center?
Actually, these are from my personal collection, but
okay.
I'm going to donate them over
Are you?
to them
Good
if they
for-
need it.
yeah, good for you.
I know we have a cheese box, but this one turned up at an antique store. No one knew exactly what it was, so I'm going to turn it over.
What
to
got
them.
you interested in this, Patrick, in the cheese industry?
Well, my mother was the curator at the New York State Museum of Cheese, which was located at the Erie Canal Village in Rome for many years. And she actually developed that exhibit many years ago. It's since pretty much closed down. But that was my start of cheese.
Okay.
And just working in Oneida County and knowing Jesse's story and the fact that he revolutionized not just cheese, but the farmers. because it changed their lifestyle.
Yeah.
The poor farmers' wives had to make cheese twice a day. Cows don't stop, right?
Yeah.
And Jesse's Cheese Factory allowed them to have free time.
Yeah.
Many of them went to work in the cheese factories.
Yeah, Jesse Williams is recognized by the United County History Center.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yep. And Mr. Kraft, there was a celebration of the Jesse Williams and the cheese industry, and Mr. Kraft himself credits. He said, if there wasn't people like Jesse, America wouldn't be what it was, because he really shared his ideas and just didn't take all the profits.
I didn't have time to read this yet because you just brought it in, but I'm going to read it. There's an article in the New York State Archives written by you.
Yes.
Yeah. How did that come about?
I was giving a talk about Jesse Williams in Rome, and the press release went out, and the editor, or one of the editors of the New York State Archives magazine, actually gave me a call and encouraged me to write and submit the article for consideration. It didn't mean it just got in. It was actually reviewed by quite a laundry list of knowledgeable people throughout the state and state historians, and it's vetted. But many people don't know that the public, researchers such as yourself even, can submit articles to that magazine. And it's supposed to highlight collections from archives, not only in the New York State Museum, but other museums, Oneida County History Center and things like that.
I just opened up to page 36, and there's a picture in there of a cheese curing room, and there's this notation. In 1892, cheese production peaked with 12 million pounds of cheese made in Oneida County alone. Whoa.
Yes. So they were making so much cheese that they developed, because we had not only the canal, but the railroads were starting to run as well. So in the 1870s, they had a cheese train that went daily started in Syracuse, and it stopped down the Mohawk Valley, down the Hudson, and they were moving 600 tons of cheese a day.
Wow. The cheese industry today, Patrick, what's it like?
Well, because of the railroads, we were able to ship liquid milk to New York City. They invented refrigerated rail cars, right? So now you could actually move containers of milk to New York City. And when that happened, the cheese industry began to move west. If you watch sports at all, there's certain football fans with cheese hats.
Yeah.
That's where it moved.
Okay.
Yeah, Wisconsin. And Canada as well.
Wisconsin, you're talking. Yeah. The when you were talking about that, I was thinking so many industries that started in our area and were revolutionized really in our area and then moved out. I'm thinking about the cotton mills and all the linen that was made here, and that all went south, and now I guess it's over in the Orient. But a lot of industrial things started here.
Well, in the dairy industry, things shifted. Of course, in this area, almost all the milk you see now goes to the yogurt factory.
Oh, Chobani.
Chobani.
Yeah.
But up north in Lowville, they have the Philadelphia cream cheese factory.
Yeah.
Right.
They make that big cheese up
every
there
year. Yeah. So Philadelphia cream cheese isn't from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, right.
There's a Philadelphia, New York,
right,
where the
right.
style of cheese sort of came into its own.
Yeah. We've only got about 30 seconds left, Patrick, but I wanted to ask you real quickly, and there's not enough time to talk about it adequately, but Fort Bull, we always talk about Fort Stanwix and Old Fort Schuyler, but we had a Fort Bull up in Rome, yes?
Yep, Fort Bull was one of several small factories that were guarding what's called the Oneida Carry.
Yeah.
As you know, you can go from the Mohawk River to Wood Creek, and Wood Creek takes you to Oneida Lake and Fort Oswego. And Fort Bull was a small fort that was located over there. For just a couple of years, it got blown up. There was a bad massacre there. It was eventually replaced with Fort Stanwix.
Yeah.
But it's one of the few French and Indian War fortifications that you can go visit, because most of them have been buried underneath cities.
Maybe we'll have Art Simmons from the Rome Historical Society come on. I know you were telling me he's an expert on that.
Yep,
Thanks for
great.
coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. Don't forget cnyhomepage.com. There's lots of good stuff there. Until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.